It's no surprise that the founder of Google, Larry Page, ranks 8 on the Forbes list. After all, Googling is a global term known by teenagers, adults, elders, all ages, and all races around the world, and is most likely one of your first two options if you had any type of question in your head. In today's video, we dig deeper into how Larry Page made Google go from a startup to a global company, and what makes it different from other search engines. Before we go on, if you like this video, let us know by pressing the like button, and please consider subscribing for more videos just like this. Larry Page was born in Michigan. Both of his parents, Carl and Gloria Page, were professors of computer science. He was raised in a non-religious household. His childhood household was filled with computers and science magazines, which sparked his interest in technology at a young age. He was also interested in business and creativity, and by the age of 12, he had decided to start his own firm. He earned a bachelor's degree in computer engineering from the University of Michigan after graduating from East Lansing High School in 1991. Later, he enrolled at Stanford University for a master's degree in computer science. A vision struck Larry Page as a 22-year-old Stanford graduate student in the middle of the night. He envisioned that he was able to download the entire web using it, and by investigating the links between the pages, he was able to see the world's knowledge in a completely new light. Page's notes from that night provided the foundation for an algorithm. He named it PageRank and used it to power BackRub, a new web search engine. In 1995, while working on a research project for his PhD at Stanford, he met fellow researcher Sergey Brin. By 1996, they had created a search engine named BackRub. For some months, it was hosted on Stanford servers. Page and Brin decided to turn their project into a corporation, and they managed to get a $100,000 check to fund their startup from Andy Bechtolsheim, a co-founder of Sun Microsystems. Just like any startup, BackRub went through frequent changes. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Imagine, instead of telling someone, "I Googled you," you say, "I backrubbed you." Luckily, after 1 year, the name had changed to Google, inspired by the number Google, 1, followed by 100 zeros. Another change was that there was no management layers between the CEO, Page, and the developers in Google's first year. However, as the firm evolved, it added a layer of managers, people who could meet with Page and the rest of Google's senior executives and issue prioritized orders and deadlines to the engineers. Page believed that this extra layer of oversight was not only unnecessary, but also an impediment, because Google only employed the best programmers. He also suspected that Google's project managers were directing engineers away from initiatives that were important to him personally. Page, for example, described a proposal to scan all of the world's books and make them searchable online, but no one seemed to be working on it. Page placed the blame on the project managers. Page decided that instead of project managers, all of Google's engineers would report to one person, Wayne Rosing, a recently hired VP of engineering, who would report to him directly. Page's concept was deemed insane by Google's human resources chief, Stacy Sullivan. "You can't just self-reorganize," she exclaimed. "People need someone to go to when they have problems." But Page did not listen to her. Rosing had to break the news himself that engineering was undergoing a restructure, with all engineers reporting to him and all project managers were being laid off. The news was not favorably received by all the 130 or so engineers, and the half-dozen project managers were completely taken aback, complaining that they hadn't been warned in any way. Instead, they'd just been fired in front of their entire department. Engineers demanded to know why this was happening. As a result, Page simply said that he didn't appreciate non-engineers supervising engineers. Engineers should not be supervised by managers who are unfamiliar with technology. Page's restructuring was also short-lived, as some issues occurred and resources were not provided to projects that need them. The issue of redundancy arose. Engineers yearned for feedback and questioned their future plans. Google eventually resumed employing project managers. During the restructuring chaos, Stacy reached out to Eric Schmidt, who was rumored to resign from Novell to be the CEO of Google, and he tried his best to get Page to rethink his decision. He had completely freed himself from his Novell commitments by August 2001. He was named Google's CEO, providing Page and his co-founder Sergey Brin with adult supervision. They were named presidents of products and technology, respectively, while Schmidt was keeping the company's structure and managing the business side. Page had the proper time and energy to get creative and come up with new products and ideas. Google released Google Desktop Search and Orkut, a social networking service, in 2004. In the same year, Google launched its initial public offering, or IPO, making Page and Brin multimillionaires. Google.org, the company's charitable arm, was established to help with social challenges and causes. Google had a very fruitful year in 2005. In that year, Google Maps, Blogger Mobile, Google Reader, and iGoogle were all released. The next year, Google purchased YouTube and added a chat feature to Gmail. In 2007, Google formed a partnership with China Mobile and Salesforce.com. Thousands of students in Kenya and Rwanda will be able to use Google Apps for education thanks to collaborations negotiated by the business. Google released Google Sites and a new version of Google Earth in 2008, and in January 2009, Picasa for Mac was released, followed by Google Latitude and the most recent version of Google Earth. In the same year, Google Ventures, a venture capital fund dedicated to assisting new technology startups, was launched. Aardvark and Picnic were purchased by Google in 2010. Customers can now manage cloud applications with ease, thanks to the Google Apps Marketplace, a new online store for integrated business software. Larry Page was named CEO in January 2011. Eric Schmidt, the company's former CEO, still served as executive chairman. And as you might have guessed it, Larry did take that opportunity to blow up the company more, but into an even bigger vision. Page stated on Google's official blog on August 10, 2015, that Google had restructured into a number of subsidiaries under a new holding company known as Alphabet Inc., with Page becoming CEO of Alphabet Inc. and Sundar Pichai becoming CEO of Google Inc. Page described the planned holding company as follows in his announcement. By streamlining processes and offering investor access into the operations of Alphabet's new projects and acquisitions, the shakeup was meant to help all of its businesses work more efficiently and assuage market anxieties. It helped Alphabet demonstrate to investors that it can generate profits while exploring new markets and revenue streams. And Alphabet has grown into a multi-billion-dollar firm that includes everything from internet-bearing hot air balloons to self-driving automobiles and Google Cloud. The company's divisions are shifting around as it grows, the most recent being Jigsaw, a technological incubator that was purportedly swallowed by Google. Some of the divisions are Verily, whose research focuses on healthcare and disease prevention. Smart contact lenses that can monitor a wearer's glucose levels were one of its initial projects, but it has since been put on hold. Verily is now concentrating on diagnosing ailments and improving the user experience for patients. Sidewalk Labs is an Alphabet company that focuses on urban innovation. It was created in 2015. Sidewalk Labs, led by Dan Doktoroff, intends to use technology to develop innovative ways to enhance cities. The firm is based at the Hudson Yards redevelopment in New York City, and it is also designing a neighborhood along Toronto's waterfront. Alphabet's early-stage venture arm is known as GV. GV, formerly known as Google Ventures, is a venture capital firm that manages over $4.5 billion and has invested in over 400 startups, including Uber, Lime, and Slack. DeepMind is a company that specializes in artificial intelligence research. DeepMind was acquired by Google in 2014 for $500 million, with the goal of integrating artificial intelligence into all of Google's products, including search. DeepMind AI can also educate itself to play arcade games and compete against humans in board games. Alphabet's Moonshot Factory, X, is a top-secret R&D facility. Astro Teller is in charge. Some X projects have grown into full-fledged businesses. Project Loon, a former ex-Moonshot that is now a standalone company, is on a mission to use internet beaming hot air balloons to offer web access to 2/3 of the world's population. Some of the honorable mentions are Titan, the flying solar-powered drones, Makani, the flying wind turbines, and Waymo, Alphabet's self-driving car project. And that's how Larry Page's net worth became $10 billion. He had a vision since he was 22 years old, and he believed in it. Subscribe to our channel for more great content just like this, and do share your opinions in the comments section.